Tim, you said, listen, I really don't care in some ways what Paula Deen has to say about the N-word. It's much bigger than Paula Deen.
I mean, the only thing about Paula Deen that troubles me is her worldview that nostalgizes the antebellum South. That, to me, is a far bigger issue. But I agree with the last commentator. I mean, the reality is, we have a Supreme Court that in the last 10 days has just basically called 40 million black folks that word without saying it by restricting or limiting the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and basically ending, for all intent and purpose, or at least, limiting in many ways affirmative action. So I'm far more concerned about the kind of racism that comes from very well-educated, law school educated, high powerful people who know well enough not to use that word but still restrict opportunity based on the same kind of fundamental mentality that affects a lot of people, Paula Deen among them perhaps, but at the end of the day, millions of us. And I just want to say with regard to this word, I agree with LeVar. He makes a great point that context always matters. I will say this as a white person doing anti-racism work. I can think of no context where white folks should ever audibilize that word with regard to black folks. I want to make this clear because I know white people get very upset because I've been around white people all my life. I know a lot of them. And they always say, oh, but black people get to use it. Why can't I use it? If that is the only thing you have to complain about as a white person, that you don't get to use that word, your life is pretty sweet. Because the reality is, the difference is history. The difference is there has never been a history where white folks used that word vis-a-vis black people as a form of endearment or as another word for friend or buddy or, hey, let's go and get a, burger at the Mickey D's, my N-word. Like, that's not what we did. I grew up with black friends, and I'm not saying that because I know all white people say that, but I actually mean it. Like, those were my main friends when I was a kid. Like, I didn't just use that word. Like, we didn't use that. And so the idea that white folks can use that word because, it's okay. It's like the old third grade wisdom, or even like not even third grade, like kindergarten. Like, I can talk about my mama, but you cannot talk about my mama, right? That's the difference.